Good evening, Celine, Nicole, and Dana. How's everyone doing? Thursday night. Do I have that high enough, or should I go higher?
Higher? No.
That's good.
Gotta go lower. I'm like,
well, you don't have to. You're looking there. You're not even looking there. Anyway, you guys miss out on the best. I need to film before we go on what really happens, so it's pretty darn entertaining because this one's fluffing her pillows. She's turning the lights on, and then she's trying to hook up the monitor here, and it's already hooked up, and she's walking around. Of course, I don't say nothing. I just watch it happen because it's so damn entertaining. And I can promise you tonight, none of this.
so.
Because we're not in the old lady rocket chair.
I could still rock.
You think so, huh?
Yes, I can.
Hello, Cheryl.
I do. I move a lot, and you don't realize it. And I've always. It's a condition of. I don't understand how it was more. You were more aware of it when I was over there in the chair.
Do it on the chair.
But I move a lot. You ask people that watch. I'm like, I move a lot. I do.
We welcome back, Chris, to the stimulating conversation. Now, if you guys watched 2 nights ago where John went the gambit and we talked about all these different subjects and covered all these different events that we did, and tonight,
Crickets.
cue the crickets.
Crickets.
Hello, Diana. How are you? So, hey, Luann. God, how long has it been since we saw Luann? It's been a while. But anyway, we decided, and now remember, replace we with me. Whenever I say that, you know it's just me who decides and puts it all together.
You don't.
Some people are making flowers out of toilet paper while John is busy.
Crepe paper.
It's colored toilet paper.
This guy is his brain and stuff is like. I saw something on YouTube that I was fascinated by, where it made it look like it was something that was really easy. And I do like to try things every now and then, like making a craft or something. To me, it's intriguing when somebody can make something out of nothing. And I tried to do this, and 3 different tries, and I finally got it, and it still didn't come out the way that it looked on YouTube, but at least it resembles what it's supposed to. This guy comes in and goes, "What the heck are you doing? Why? You must be bored. Why are you doing this? This is not natural. You can't sit still. You can't." Just like, this is my downtime. I either want to read a book or I like to do like a little arts and crafts project. It drives him crazy.
It's colored toilet paper.
It's crepe paper.
She was making flowers out of it. Meanwhile, El Capitan is working on New Jersey Paranormal.
But he doesn't tell you that yesterday
texts
that
at
I
9,
was
10 o'clock at night, creating posters for different events, working with the event locations to get the lists and find out what spots we can use, all that stuff.
Well, yesterday Chris took care of the state business for the company, and like that, I do my stuff.
Guess who had to tell her to do that?
You were so Donkey Kong.
Yes. So, John, or anybody, we will have flowered toilet paper available at our events that you'll be able to use for whatever you may want to use it for. Anyway, she's going to go get one. I should have never brought it up.
I said, this drove him nuts because I made this. This is what drove him crazy. And I'll keep making them to drive him crazy.
Oh, Serenity now. Heaven help me.
It's my wand. Make you vanish. How's that?
Sure.
So I assumed that you talked about the objects from the Creeper Gallery and the stuff that happened with them, right? I'm asking. I wasn't here. I was tired.
I went over all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you were sleeping and I took care of.
I was exhausted.
I took care of the community and
yeah.
Even before we went on here, she was hemming and hawing again about coming back on. And
John doesn't understand the word not feeling up to par, not feeling good. Like the last couple of days, I've just not been myself. And when I get that way, I check out. I give myself time. This guy, he don't check out. He just keeps going. That ain't my MO.
Anyway, so back to what we're on here. It ain't about toilet roses. Trust me. Hello, Anna. I was trying to think of something. You know, we're doing the events with John and John's objects, although that'll only be twice. When he's at the mine, he won't have his objects with him. But you know, we did one event last year, the fundraiser, where we brought Donna's objects to the event. We did the haunted object, haunted building event, and people seemed to like it a lot. And I was thinking maybe we could add that to the September 14th. You know, we're getting to the fall,
that idea.
Halloween, and all that stuff. So I thought maybe we could bring that to the Creeper. I mean, to Centenary, and not only do it, but as an added kind of type of thing, because innovation is Johnny's middle name. They think it's Batista. It is innovation.
I got another name for it.
They're out there watching. Get your pads, get your papers, put your phone on record.
I agree, Tamara.
But I thought, okay, let's add the objects, and not only add the objects, but we'll let you guys pick the objects. And I talked to Donna about this, and she kind of left it up to me, but you know, the darker ones were kind of, we'll decide when we decide as a unit what we're going to do. And but we're going to go in there on Tuesday before we actually do the live investigation. We'll go around to the different cases. I already told Donna, if there's a list of objects you don't want me to include, just let me know. But I plan on going live at 7 o'clock instead of 8. And we're basically just going to open up the cases and we're going to read the cards. And as we're going through them, if you guys think that's one we should consider, just write down the name of the object. If we call it Flossie.
And then we'll just go back and figure out what got the most votes from everybody.
And then we'll figure out, like she said, which ones people commented on the most and want to see part of the event, especially the people that are going to be there. There's still tickets for that event. I don't think there's a whole lot left, but there's some left. But we'll let you guys pick which 3 objects should be featured for that event. And I think that's cool because it's not just up to us. If you guys want to go all dark, we go all dark. If you want to go all fluffy, fluffernutter, grandma apple pie, we go grandma apple pie. If you want a mixture, we do a mixture. But you guys are definitely going to be included in that. Not just the people who are attending, but everybody who watches the lives and watches the Creeper Gallery. And we're going to be able to kind of do a brief summary and feature pretty much all of the objects, so that even if we don't use them all during that event, the next one we'll do it the same way when we bring out the objects, which again, maybe this year, may not be. But I want to start featuring Donna's objects too at our events for our investigations. I think it gives it.
Well, people like the hands-on besides just watching. They like to see what they can feel and what they get from the object too. That's what I saw when we did it.
I wasn't really talking about that, but yeah. Anyway, what I was talking about was adding. You guys watch us do the lives from the Creeper Gallery all the time. Donna's not going to do any. I don't see any events coming up in the new store anytime soon.
No.
We haven't even talked about potential dates or potential events. Not yet.
No.
So this is the next best thing. If we can't bring you into the store and do the investigation, then maybe we can bring some objects out and do not only the objects, but do whatever building we're in. Did I say innovator? Did you guys, you heard that, right?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Mm-mm.
So that's what we're going to do. And I think it will be cool. I think if you can tune in at 7 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday, we're going to open up the cases. And there may be some that you guys don't remember that are still there. There may be a few new ones. There may be some in the dark corner. We're not allowed to do the curse box. That'll never, ever come out again.
Or the Bible.
Yeah, those two will never
come out. Or the censors.
The censors. They could come out.
No. I'm not touching those sensors.
You don't have to.
I'm not touching
You
those
don't have
sensors.
to. Okay. We have the little chicken corner that
That's not a chicken. You know
people
what?
could stay
People,
in if they want
you know
to
what
stay
those
away from that stuff.
you know what those sensors did when they came out. I'm not messing with those sensors.
Anyway,
No.
we will again open up the cases and whatever information we can, we'll read it.
Yeah.
I do know that there's some that doesn't have that maybe you guys will remember even if we don't remember the story from, but everything's on the table except for the curse box and the Bible. Everything else. Even Donna said we might want to think twice about the little voodoo box or the Papa.
Oh, people
What
like
does she
that
call it? The
one.
Papa something one. I think that was a voodoo one, maybe.
Yeah, that's
But
one.
all that's on the table as far as I'm concerned.
I
mean,
never did that one.
I
with
did.
you. You did it because
Yeah.
it was dark.
But that's all on the table, and I think it's a really cool thing for us to do going forward. Not all the time. We're not going to do it all the time, but maybe I don't know.
I think the college
2-3
is a really
times
good
a
place
year.
to do it.
Yeah, I think 2-3 times a year with Donna's objects is definitely, or every quarter maybe. It's just a good way to promote her shop, to let people not only see the lives investigations but be part of them, you know. And
Because I know there's people out there like you. I know that they like touching the
there's
darker
nobody
stuff.
out there like me.
They have the same like inclination of you. It doesn't bother them that if it's dark or if it has something, they just want to immerse themselves into the experience and see what it does. They want to be a part of what you do and what I do when we're sitting there with it, and I get that. If I was a watcher, I'd be the one that would want to be drawn in and be able to participate in something if I enjoyed it.
That's why I do these things.
I know you do.
For you and for
thank you. Thank you.
I
God
give.
love you.
I'm a giver.
Thank you, Father.
I'm a giver. I give.
I've been blessed.
Yeah. So I am.
So blessed.
So I am. But that's what we're doing. So if you don't have tickets to that and you want to come or you were thinking about coming,
how many tickets do you think is available?
I'm not sure. I really the website won't update, so I don't know. But if you want them, you probably should get them soon because I'm sure they won't last that long, especially with us doing what we're doing on Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy that.
I think that even Donna she reached out about investigating. She asked if we were going this week, and we're not going this week. We're going to go on Tuesday. And she said there were some new items that she wanted us. And I said, send pictures and let me know which is which, whichever ones you want us to do. But that's what we're doing. And I think it's a good idea, and I think it's going to be fun. We are working on, besides the Steve Gonzalez event on August 3rd, which is sold out at the Sterling Hill Mine, we are working on one more big event with a special guest or two that we should know in the next day or two. So I can't spoil it. I can't say who.
But if he pulls it off, it's going to be a really great.
It's going to be cool. If it's the big event with two people, it'll be really, really cool. If it's only with one of the people, it'll be just as cool.
Yeah.
But it involves TV people, and it should be. Like I said, if we can pull it off, which I think we can, it's just a matter of which way we're going to go with it, the availability. We should be announcing that probably in the next couple of days. And like I said, in all likelihood, we will be at the Hoover House. I think it's December 7th this year. Whatever that first weekend is in December, we're going to be back there again with Cody and Satori. So we weren't sure if we were going to do it alone or what we were going to do. But we did decide, let's do the jubilation.
Yeah. Friday's the 6th, so that's the 6th.
It'll be Friday, the 6th
and
7th.
Yeah.
6th and 7th.
Yeah.
But we decided, we're going to do that again. We're going to do it with Cody and Satori. So if you weren't there last year, you missed out. You should try to be there this year. I would recommend booking the Hoover rooms if you want them now because they go quick for that weekend. Celine already got their room. If you're interested in staying there, we're going to stay there over the weekend. So the party continues after the event. We have pizza. We hang out. We just enjoy the holidays. We go downtown. Last year, they did such a great job in Gettysburg. It was probably my favorite ever.
Yeah.
Because they had so much going on downtown. And the weather was nice. Knock on wood. it's nice again.
We started to go on our own, and by the time we got downtown, it was like a group of 10, 12 where we're all together, just experiencing and walking down and just enjoying the whole. It definitely was an interesting time, and again, um, when we get closer, Pam always arranges with the cobblestone. She has arrangements with them where she gets discounted rooms. So keep that in mind. So you might want to wait until Pam works that out and there's a discount. Yeah, because it'll be much cheaper.
But if you, again, the Hoover 2 nights, they have rooms available. Great place to stay because we'll be there. Cody Satori will be there. Pam and Steve will be there. And again, after the event's over, we stay downstairs till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Just, I'm sure the Wooden Leg will make an appearance again this year because
Lord.
That's a tradition that Cody and I have started where we pass the Wooden Leg back and forth, sometimes with holiday lights on it. Sometimes they don't. But it's going to be a good time. So I know that's a ways off, December, but those rooms are going to go fast for people booking the
time
rooms.
Comes quicker than you think. I mean, we were just December just not too long ago, and look where we are now.
Yeah.
That's
so
how I feel.
That's how we're going to end the year. And I think I had such a good time ending it that way last year. That it's just a good way to do it.
I agree.
I mean, I know we did the creeper thing after that, but I don't see that happening. Maybe Donna will agree to that for the end of the year. We'll work that out. Because again, it's cool being with Donna for the holidays too. So that's kind of what's coming up. Besides the events that are already out there, I'm working on. Still waiting for the Venmo link for the Caldwell Parsonage. I do have all the requests still in my binder. I'm waiting on it. They said they're going to test it, whatever. I do have the link for Liberty Hall for November 9th. I'm going to be sending that out to all the people that emailed me about that event. But it's going to be cool from now to the end of the year. Well, once we get to September to the end of the year, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun for us and hopefully for you guys. So get those tickets if you want them, because next year we're really leaning towards, believe it or not, we started discussing plans for next year. Now, for those of you who know who you are, you're really going to want to put a star next to this one and maybe highlight it, because this is good stuff. This is inside information. For next year, we're looking to do things a little different. I won't give away the whole plan, but we'll still be doing events, but different places. We'll still have some of the regular places, but
venturing out on some road trips. That's what I want to do.
Oh, Lordy, help me. Help me.
I do.
Are you sure you're not tired? You look tired.
I'm always tired.
You look exhausted.
I am.
You really look tired. If she sees a movie you wanted to see, if she knows anything don't want everyone to know, please don't share it. This is what I mean about taking care of everything. I let this much slip out of my plans to
no.
certain
that
people
wasn't just
and
your plans.
Diarrhea.
That wasn't just your
diarrhea.
Plans.
Diarrhea.
That was not just your plans.
That was half of them.
Anyways.
Heaven help me, please. Hello, Laura. How are you? So, what else you have to talk about? I shared a lot about the all the stuff that we did last week with Lorelei, with the Creeper Gallery, and then with Kalani. I told him that we hung out with Kalani. We had a great time just hanging out and talking with him, spending hours just with him and Savannah.
They're just really, really good people. Really amazing people. And the more time that you get to spend with them, the more you see how real and they're just down to earth. And Savannah, I really enjoy talking to her. She is just a well put together young person. Now, I enjoy that. I like it when stuff like that happens. But last week, I don't know, maybe if this is one of the reasons why I've been struggling this whole entire week and just not been able to like, I just feel like I'm always behind the eight ball, that I don't have the energy and I'm just not feeling well. But it seems like when we did that investigation on Friday, that was the start of my whole just being completely worn down and not getting my stride back with the um she went by the name of Sarah, but her name was Rosaria, and that whole thing. And you were sitting talking with her, and if anybody doesn't remember this, when we were there doing the investigation, Rosaria was one of the ones that was killed in the fire. 123 children and women were killed in a fire in New York in a garment factory. And um, I'm filming John while he's trying to communicate with her, and both of my forearms on either side just got really, really hot. Like the best way to describe it was a sunburn. Like when you get burned really bad and you get that, like you don't even want to touch. That's how it felt. And then you had me go back over and sit to communicate with her. And the whole entire this side was like when you sit right next to a fire and the intensity just keeps getting hotter and hotter and you need to move. And then we just like ended. So there's something
Yeah,
with
you were
that
talking
where,
about having like hot flashes and stuff,
ooh,
and
it
that's why I
was
said
brutal.
for me that investigation yielded not a whole lot, but you were affected and you
I
were.
was. And I
Well,
didn't
Lauren,
seem like I
Karen,
could catch my stride. And I still haven't caught my stride. And I don't know if it's just like being impacted or
Carla,
it
how are you?
was combinations of everything, but it just, it, I've been thinking about this during this whole week. And are we getting more sensitive to things because we keep opening ourselves up? Because it seems like things impact me. Even it used to be just the darker things, but there seems to be like a pull on the emotional and the physical impact that's happening right now. Have you noticed that about you?
I don't know. I don't know if I attribute it to that, to be honest with you, but
I
it's
just
possible.
I just have not been able to get my stride back since Friday, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's just all coincidental. But I mean, because you're with me, I have had a really hard time energy wise, physically, and I just can't seem to get myself going. Yeah, I smelled smoke too, but it wasn't like smoke like with you. It was different. It was like a acidy burn. It was really bizarre. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, people are
It's
saying maybe you just
possible.
have so much of your energy. I heard you don't investigate if you're stressed. She's been through the mill lately with some other
I
stuff,
have.
you
That's
know.
true.
And hey, Gina, and you know, we talked about this before. I do believe certain places, certain things, you do have to kind of go in with a mental attitude and be prepared. Um, right away, when anybody mentions dark or negative to you, you automatically, okay,
I do.
it's in my head. I need to be careful. I need to put up certain walls and protect myself and just handle things a little different. I really don't do that, to be honest with you. I don't. Um, but I know people do, and it's just an instinctual thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. We were talking about kind of, like you said, intuitiveness, just being more aware and feeling, picking up on your surroundings and the energy. And like you said, if you're even the little bit vulnerable, um, then maybe you are more susceptible to them manipulating you and your energy easier, I guess. You know, it's
Maybe some of those walls are down, so you're a little bit more open to be impacted or to feel. And it definitely felt. And I do believe the thing about stress, I do believe that when you're overstressed or whatever, it's just like anything, stress, sick, whatever. You're more open to certain things. You're vulnerable. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But there are just so many when we talk about this, and we talk about so lightly and cavalier about investigating things and looking into things and seeing if we can feel and have an experience. And usually when something affects me, it's like anything, whether I'm feeling sad or something makes me feel happy or if I'm connected to an object, like not the object itself, but whoever is there present, that feeling can go, the further we drive away, it starts to fall off. It like fades. And this really hasn't faded. I feel like I'm in like a cocoon, like a little dull kind of, I keep trying to come out of, and it's not working.
Yeah, I was just talking about you today. Yeah, I was told by someone that I didn't know could read auras. I had too much going on to investigate. Hmm. You know how I feel about that stuff, Laura. But again, if people believe that stuff, I think that's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If they plant that seed, it kind of becomes reality. But
Or
that's
you make
me.
it a reality.
Yeah, but everyone knows I love Ghost Adventures, and I know a lot of people don't like that show, but I watched it today. I had to. New season. One of the coolest things. Again, if you're in it and you experience it, there's no way to describe what that feels like when something actually happens that takes you back and makes you go, "This isn't planned. This wasn't even in or the realm of consideration," and then bam, it happens. They're investigating. Where were they? Oh, that hotel. And Zach and Jay are in this hallway where they're hearing, they've captured voices and stuff. And the lamp in the hotel room turns on by itself. I kid you not. When stuff like that happens, and I again, people talk about fake, manipulated, whatever. The God's honest truth is, you don't know who's manipulating what out there. You don't. You can make your assumptions. You can have your opinions. You don't
and most
know.
people's assumptions and opinions are by what other
But
people say.
the fact of the matter is, if you're going to accuse one of them, you might as well accuse all of them. That's the fact. Because they all kind of do things the same. They're all filmed. They're all in buildings with sound people and microphones and whatever. So it is what it is. But that light went on, and it was genuine responses from them. And I like that part of the show, because there's even a part of the show where Aaron is wearing a backpack and he bumps into something, but he thought for sure something moved behind him, and he jumped like you would jump.
But that's an honest response. That's not a practice. Like you said, it's not practice. It's not.
No, you know when you're in it and you're in the dark and you're dealing with
that's what I'm talking
potential
about.
energies that are around you, that you have no idea.
That's terrifying.
How they're going to react to anybody at any given moment. Your adrenaline's already up there, and your senses are all in tune for listening and squinting to look to see if you see a shadow or whatever, and you are waiting for the boom.
And most times it never comes.
No, that's the truth.
And when it does, what do? You run to it. What do? I run from it.
Part of what we do.
That's the difference.
But anyway, I watched that show, and the point I was getting to, based on what you were talking about, was there was one part where Zach was doing an interview with these two women, two females, and they were talking about their experience within that one room, and you could tell he totally zoned out. And typical Zach, he started laughing and walked away and had to mumble some stuff to make it bigger than what it was. But there have been too many occasions where I feel like my blood sugar bottoms out, and all of a sudden I go from being locked in and in the moment and present to the lights are on and nobody's home. All of a sudden I'm there and I know what we're doing, but I'm not focusing on anything she's saying. I'm not taking in
You're like in a tunnel.
what's going on around me. I'm so hard trying to regain my focus, but that's it. The lights are on and no one's home. And I'm just trying to whoa, how do I, the only thing I can equate it to is like being stoned. I mean, if you've never been stoned, or it's been a long time for me since I did, but with the edibles with Donna, it's like you're in your body, you're aware, you can see everything that's going on, but your brain is all of a sudden whoop, not, it's everywhere and not there. it's so hard
Yeah.
but that's happened to me more times than I'm comfortable admitting, to where it it's in an instant where that one object just boom, and you're like, whoa, 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 hold on. What am I talking about? I mean, I've done many videos at the Creeper Gallery where even by myself, I sat there and I went, I lost it. I can't focus. And I squint and I concentrate on whatever EVP session that I'm doing, just try to keep a thought together. You know, it's rough and it's not age to win. That may be part of it, but it's happened a lot over the last, I don't know how many years. It really is.
But I think the more
when it happens,
I think the more we're doing this, it seems to come quicker and faster. It's almost like they know you're receptive and you're open, and there's more of a direct in to affect you than it used to be. That's how I feel. I was completely surprised by Sarah and the burning and that. And I think that whole thing is a residual haunting, but yet she can make you feel. I really do.
Well, you know, another thing I wanted to talk about too, and I'm not trashing anybody in particular or any specific thing. I'm just, again, talking about a circumstance. I don't know the people involved in this personally, so I really don't know either way what the real story is. But I posted that video about that house in Indiana that it just popped up on my feed. And I don't even know what made me watch it, but I watched it, and I'm watching. The house is supposedly, you know, the biggest haunting in the United States, dark energy in the house. And they did a documentary on it. I think there was a book written about it and all this other stuff about the dark energy and what's in that building. And yet the people who used to live there, the ghosts or spirits that all these people are talking about are these people's parents and it was the mother and the stepfather. The mom, according to the paranormal people, the mom had a drug problem and was found under the bed, and she was bloated or something, and she had been there for. This is again what I'm hearing from this news report, and you know, the stepfather did kill himself in the house, but the mom had a heart attack. She didn't die in the house. She died at the hospital. The father-in-law, or no, stepfather, he found out he had cancer. According to, this is from the actual family members, he found out he had cancer, couldn't afford the treatment, he became really depressed, and he killed himself in the house. That's true. What isn't true is that the chair that the paranormal people were saying was the chair he killed himself in and actually had stains on it wasn't the chair that was in the house when he did it. And the hat and the gun that whoever staged in the house wasn't the gun used, and it wasn't a hat that he wore. Now, stuff like that, to me, again, I don't know the whole entire story. I didn't see any of the interviews with the guy who actually owned the house. So I can't really speak to how he defended it or what he said. I'm only basing it on what these family members said. This was the son and I think granddaughter, or was it the daughter, brother and sister of the mother who had the heart attack, and the stepfather. And this is the problem, part of the problem with the paranormal stuff, is that who creates the narrative, you know, in a quote unquote haunting. I've got a big problem with, and I've said this before, when any specific place runs 30 mediums through the building and lets them dictate what happened there. I'm picking up on a child that was murdered in the basement. I'm picking up on an old woman that hanged herself in the attic. There was a mobster that stayed here and he killed people and had their bodies dismembered. Okay, where in anywhere is the documentation or any kind of newspaper or anything to back any of that stuff up. Where? It doesn't exist. Not to say, again, some stuff wasn't documented. I get it. Different places have different types of media and things through the years. But if the haunting is based solely on mediums' perceptions, sorry, doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me at all. And when the living relatives are around, we had a situation, and I'll tell this story really,
Karen,
really
we
quick.
can see YouTube comments.
Yeah. I won't say the name of the building because we don't work with them anymore. This is a historic location. I won't say what state. I won't say what town. None of that. Now it's a historic building. At one point, it was rented out to people, the families. The last person who was a tenant in this house before the Historic Society took it over killed himself in the hallway, walkway, whatever you want to call it. Now, I won't get into specifics about who he was and why he killed himself. It's in the papers. He killed himself in that house. Now, the people who were there, the historic people, were experiencing activity, and they wanted us to come check it out as part of a plan to maybe do some fundraising down the road. They didn't want us mentioning this person or anything about that, but they said if that person came through, there's nothing they could do about it. Well, guess what? Oof. The only person to come through during that entire night was that person. Clear as day, all interaction was that person. Now, rightfully so, we met with the board. We showed them what we captured. We discussed everything. Nobody wanted to move forward with an event based on what we captured. We wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it because there were still living relatives around. It didn't happen. It happened a while ago, but we're not talking 1940s and 50s here. We're talking.
Well, there's still family around.
Yes.
People are going to be impacted by what you're doing.
Everybody made the decision. We don't talk about what we found.
Yep.
We don't talk about what came through. And we sure as hell
just the people in the room
don't exploit it doing an event or any kind of live based on it.
Because the truth of the matter is that when you get in this field and you're doing it and you want to find answers, you want to thank you, Lauren, and you want to discover, have an experience, whatever. You have to remember that if you are connecting with spirits, those spirits were connected to other people, and just like how we feel. Would I want somebody doing something about my daughter who passed?
Imagine if they changed the narrative of that.
And not even put out the true things that really happened and whatever. And trust me, when my daughter passed, there was a lot of stuff going on in the background and a lot of people causing problems and hurting my other daughter when they were putting lies out there because they weren't getting the answers they wanted. Somebody wasn't telling them. They felt that they should know answers to stuff that wasn't their business. And I'm a private person. So instead of respecting that, they decided to make up stories and things were generating that were going around and got back to my daughter and she was really upset. And this is why it's really, really important. If you're going to do this, you need to take a step back and look at the morals of this. Look at the, like Gina just said, integrity. Who are you going to hurt by doing what you're doing? It's not going to hurt you if you're not related and you're not connected. But if you put this out there or you decide to pull through because you think it's your God-given right to find out these things and it's your business and everybody else's business, who are you hurting? You're hurting a living person. Yes, I know people out there say, I help the dead. I help the dead. The dead don't need help as much as the living do. And that's how I feel. That's my personal opinion. Living people are tangible. These are people we're hurting. These are the people who we're supposed to be kind to. Yes, if we're not hurting the living, then we can help the dead. But you don't, how can I say, you don't, my words just went right out of my head. you don't sensationalize or try to pull in something for your own gratification, your knowledge, or aha, the golden moment, I can show you all, look what just happened here, I've just proved, this person did this, da, 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 da. But yet over here we have a family member who didn't know any of this or whatever that you're pulling forth as the gospel in your investigation, and you're destroying them, you're hurting them. When people we love pass and other people step into areas that they don't belong, they're causing harm. And you have to be respectful and thoughtful about that. It's easier to do things that are way in the past because those family members and those people are so much distant. But when it's fresh,
Well, I mean, those people were there to be. They could have went to either one of those family members and said, "What really happened?" And again, is it possible that the energy of the stepfather's still there? Took his life there? Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Or the mother, I mean, she raised her kids there. Obviously, they said how they lived there all those years. Definitely possible. But when you turn it from a man lost his life here and he may still be here to communicating with us and a loving mother of whatever to dark energy. Oh, maybe the building drove them to be this way and there's a curse on the land. Nah, you don't do that. Not to sell your haunting. You don't need to do that. If it's active and the spirits are interacting and they're and again, you may interpret things a little different. I mean, if someone's depressed and they take their own lives, obviously there could be energy surrounding
but there's a lot of emotion involved.
But you don't, like I said, the family members are there and they came forward and said this ain't the truth, and I respect the hell out of them for doing that because that was their truth. It was their family who would know better than they would. So I just wanted to mention that because I did see that video and I did post it on here, and I'm not doing that to trash or bash anybody. It's just that here's the thing: in the paranormal, people have a problem, rightfully so. Like you said, moral ethics have to factor into things because, in theory, and I say this a lot because in theory, if we were all sociopaths and we didn't have any emotions at all, and we were just robots, AI robots, there really is no difference between trying to communicate with the spirit of someone who passed 100 years ago or 100 hours ago. There really is no difference. If you believe in this spirit world,
right?
If you believe in that we all transcend and it's possible, then in theory you should be able to take out your recorder and try to communicate with the person who just died in the hospital bed yesterday.
But at that point, it's not just that moment of that 100 hours of someone who just passed. It's more about the people surrounding it, connected to that person that are living.
Well, that's what I mean. There is, because we know of people
it's complicated.
Who investigated places after somebody died and they added their own information onto the circumstances around the death, which was really like the day after, and it was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, just because you've got a spirit box voice saying murder don't mean the person was murdered. You know what I mean? It's like, easy there. It's the week of the murder or the death, I should say. That wasn't even ruled a homicide or whatever. So, and then there's this guy who a lot of people know the name Steve Huff in our field. He'll literally, like, for example, Michael Jackson died. He was doing the spirit box session that night, talking to Michael Jackson. It's like, eesh, it's like they're.
But he doesn't have that emotional.
But that's what. But in theory, it's not wrong. In theory, it's not.
In his mind, it wouldn't be. For somebody like me, I'm sorry. The way I would feel if somebody did it to my loved one.
No, but I just think there's an
ethic.
Just like we were talking to Kalani, Auschwitz, those places. Right now, all these years, yes, taboo. You would never, ever, ever think about that. But you know what? 300 years from now, that's going to be a major paranormal site. And there's going to be people touring it. And there's going to be ghost hunts. And there's going to be all that because 300 years from now, it'll be so far removed to where it will be okay to do it in people's minds and to
Right.
make it. Gettysburg. Gettysburg was no picnic. Nobody, thousands of people were
Yeah.
slaughtered on that battlefield. Yet, any given night, you go there right now, get in your car and go there.
Pearl Harbor.
There's people out there ghost hunting. Guarantee you. I guarantee you. So
and we're one of them.
But yes, but there, like you said, there is a certain moral code and ethical code that.
And don't get me wrong. There's people out there. There's relatives that have come forward and said, "Yeah, I want this. I want to know. Can you help me?" There are people out there who are open to it. We just have to be respectful and understand that there's two sides to that coin. And how would I feel? You know, all of us have our own ideals, and we can't just brush off how someone else would feel about it.
Like I said, it's one thing if hypothetically I was okay with people going into my childhood home where, you know, my mom and dad had passed under, you know, whatever. In theory, I still would have an issue with it, but in theory, if they were going in there being respectful and just saying, hey, you know, your mom said your name. Hey, your mom said, I still wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't be as angry if they went into that same house and said, there's demonic energy here. There's a dark energy.
They made a mockery of it.
His mom died on the floor or whatever. I mean, I would be like, what the F you ghouls? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know? So for me, I saw that and I put it out there. But again, I don't know what was said on the other side. I know the house was torn down. And, you know, you're tearing the house down after stories like that come out. You know, maybe that's probably the right thing to do.
But maybe that was planned long before that.
Maybe it was. But I mean, it's a little so coincidental, you know, for me. But, you know, you don't know. But again, you should, like I said, in theory, there should be nothing wrong with it. In theory, you know, but
theory, there's theory. That's theory of science and whatever.
Well, yeah,
there's the
emotion doesn't
emotion
factor into
and connection to people that, it makes a huge difference.
No, we were really surprised with what came through in that house, and when it started, we knew who it was, and we tried to go away from that and talk to whoever else was there, and there was no one else there. He was there. And we were probably the first person to come in and openly engage with him about what happened. And he really did come through a lot. And again, in a perfect world, we would be able to show people that.
But you know what strikes me about that one, how he came across so strong. One, I think there was such an overwhelming feeling of remorse and regret, and the other, and this is something that really freaked me out. We went to the below level, and just happened to look up, and we were all trying to figure out exactly where this happened, and the wood was still soaked.
It was stained,
and the blood from what was done, and I think that elevated why it was such an intense communication and connection with him.
And you know, on a human level, you know, the fact that he was expressing remorse and regret.
Yeah. I still remember that. It was years ago. Boy, I remember it.
Yeah, you really do wish that. Again, the whole channeling theory about we were there, we were questioning, we were talking, and he came through again. And you really do hope that that was just a moment in time, but they had seen things and heard things there. So he comes back and he visits for sure, you know?
You're right.
Unfortunately, some people have their own narrative for their own personal gain. Yeah, I mean, that's why I have a big problem with the demon thing. I think that's used way too much. And I think...
I believe in demons, and I even think it's ridiculous of what's being done.
It's a great storyline for any place to say there's a demon here, you know, keeping all the other spirits down, and there's a dark energy in the basement.
That's a
and
neat.
blah, blah,
That's
blah,
a
blah,
nice.
blah,
That's a
but
nice little fallback.
yeah, I don't buy into any of that. But it is what it is when it comes to that stuff. You would hope that people wouldn't do that. And again, we've been in places where the mediums, it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I literally want to say, is that all you got? Like, because it isn't all you got if you have stuff going on. If people have seen things and they've heard things and they've experienced things, then you got stuff going on. And you want to try to find out what or who
Like the
that
one
is.
medium we were with.
Yeah, but if you want to try to find out who and what that is by taking logical steps,
right,
recording, asking questions, and doing all that stuff, and building a narrative from that, then okay, you might have something there. But to parade sensitives and mediums through and let them
story
write a
after story
freaking
after
Lord of the Rings
story,
novel,
and they're writing like
No way.
everything that's taken as gospel, and they're actually using it, and it's
no way. I don't go into that. I won't go into. Donna will be the first one to tell you that the mediums she works with, we don't work with. We don't. We
don't cross.
We barely work with any mediums as it is. If I needed something and I really needed a medium, I would go to Connie Ellick, Judy Kay, or Jane Doherty. Probably would be my first three that I would go to and ask their opinion and have them come check something out if I thought it needed to be. But that's it, really. And that's because I've known them and I've seen them and heard them do things. But I mean, come on, everybody and their mother is a medium these days. And when I hear the narrative set, and I'm just like,
John actually said this to a medium that he went out with to do a walkthrough with, and she impressed the heck out of all of us, because John actually said to her, how do I know what you're telling me is exactly, and you're not just saying things? And she said, if you put this over there, and if you do a recording, she literally, everything she stated got backed up by something happening. She told them there was a man standing over in the corner, and if you asked him a question and you did a recording.
Cut through. You like that, Ann, huh? Oh, were you interrupted? I'm sorry.
No, that if you did a recording, that a man's voice is going to come out, and he's over there and he's walking this way. So if you put something, it's going to capture. And everything she said, so it wasn't just her saying it. Everything she said was actually it happened. It showed.
No, it ain't about mediums not being my thing. Mediums are a dime a dozen, and not all of them are real. No way, no how, no sir, no way. And I've worked with ones that I can't explain what they do and what they say. Prove it. I'll bow down and say there's something there.
And he has.
But for the ones who just bing, look at me, magic spell, ding, I'm a medium, I'm a fourth generation medium. Give me a break. Prove it. Prove it. Psychic mediums, especially, psychics I have problems with. Because if you can't give me an example of you predicting the COVID virus and all that other stuff that's happened lately, especially, we've had monumental shit happening, excuse my language, but where are the psychic mediums that were predicting this stuff before it happened? Exactly. Come on. So, yeah, old school mediums.
Hey, Christy Cesare.
Christy Cesare. You want to talk about the real deal? That man, where's he? He's on that side. That man's the real deal. And from what I hear, Christy Cesare will have something coming out in the fall about his haunting at his college dorm. So you guys are definitely good man, good heart, good soul, good person. Christy Cesare.
Really good person.
But so getting back to the whole medium thing about Donna. Do you ever hear us mention a medium reading before we do any investigation at the Creeper Gallery? Do you ever?
No.
We used to take a look, and because Donna's working with these people, But we have an agreement now with Donna. We do our thing.
Yes.
We don't want to know. We only want to know what information she has that she researched, and that's it. And we go from there. And if our stuff jives with the medium, great. If it don't, well, guess what? We didn't get what they got. That's it. And Donna knows this, and she's comfortable with it.
Chip Coffee is legit, and I'm going to tell you why from my experience. Then John can tell you his. At the expo, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, like I said, I'm a very private person, and even though I'm good friends with Chip didn't know a lot of different things about me, and he stopped everyone coming in the room, and he pulled me in. And he goes, "I have a message for you," and this was probably a year after my daughter had passed. And he said, and I said, "This is not the place. No, I don't want to do this." He goes, "It's important. You know, she's insistent." So he brought me in, and he said something that only myself and the coroner knows. There's the only two people who know. And when he said it, he goes, he basically said, you know what this means? I do. And I wasn't going to tell him. And then he also said, she's pointing out that they're twins. They're twins. And they're twins. And I said, well, they are like twins. And he goes, they're soulmates. And he was talking about her sister. And then he stopped what he was doing. He goes, "You never told me you had another daughter. I only met the one. You have another daughter?" And I said, "Yeah." So there are things that he said that only I know or he didn't know of. So I know he's legit. He's the real deal. And you had an experience.
Yeah, I get emotional when I talk about what he said to me, so I don't really want to go through that again. He's just we were talking after my mom passed. We were talking about my mom and about how I wanted affirmation that she was somewhere else, and nothing was coming through to me. And he said some things that, again, about things that I have now that I gave to her, that she was pointing out, and he would have never known it, never in a million years. So he made me bawl my eyes out when he told me that. Because
he's good at that.
He is. He really is legit, man. I mean, just wow. When he pulled out of his hat, it was just like, there's no way he would have ever known it. Because, mediumship has gotten a lot easier since Ancestry and the internet has come on, and Facebook and social media, because, no one wants to believe that, some of these people don't know where, they're going. So a lot of them do know where they're going. They know who's going to be there with them as part of the session or the interview or the investigation. And it's real easy to just go on and say, Ancestry, oh, Uncle Bob passed, their mom Sally passed, blah, blah, blah. It's just way too easy to do that nowadays. Yeah. And we've been through this before when we had this discussion when my nephew was talking about seeing a medium to talk to my sister who passed in February. I told him, no, I don't think he should do it. And then I told him, if he does it, make sure there's one thing or multiple things. Don't tell me this. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me what's on my page. Don't tell me what I posted a month ago. Tell me something that only her and I would know. If you could do that, then I believe you 100%. If you can't, then bullshit, social media, Ancestry, give me my money back.
Chip did that. Chip out of the blue did that with me and just floored me. He floored me because he said something that, like I said, the coroner and I are the only ones that know.
So that's really it. I know, again, we tend to go all over the place, and that's what I like about when we do these talks, and that's why I call them paranormal talks, because there really is nothing planned. I mean, nothing planned. I like to say that there is, but literally, I'm pulling her into doing a live stream because she's a diva now and she doesn't want to keep doing these things. So I have to wrangle her into this.
He did.
And then we sit here and we just be honest.
We spitball.
But it's about being honest.
No, it is about being honest.
I don't try to offend anyone. I don't try to force my beliefs on anyone. No. I just tell you how I feel and I tell you what I believe. I always said all along, even when we have people like Laura Lyon, who I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what she believes and she does, but I respect her. And if you guys gleaned anything from that and it helps you on your path,
Thank you, Tim.
then by all means, follow that path and go down that road. I'm not the guy. I'm not Master Yoda. John Zappis is Master Yoda. I'm not Master Yoda. I'm just the guy who talks about this stuff openly and gives you my opinion.
And that's what
That's
it should be. It should be going back and forth and sharing ideas. I mean, just reading some of the stuff that's going back and forth and what you guys are saying.
Patricia, you never piss me off. Ever. Ever. Just because I don't respond, no. But
we're talking about everything, Heather.
But anyway, Thursday night, odds are we'll probably, yes, I am, Lauren. Thank you for acknowledging that. Odds are we'll probably be back, Sunday night, maybe. We have Centenary University this weekend opening up the library again. If you're coming this weekend, you're in for a treat. They're opening up the little theater again, which we didn't have access to last time. And they're opening up the library again, which I had a great time at the last event. Yeah. So it should be really, really cool. So for those of you guys who are joining us, we will see you Saturday night. Everyone else will do a wrap up on Sunday night if we're not too dead tired. And we'll tell you all about what happened.
Have a good night. Stay healthy. Be safe. Please remember to be kind to each other. I've noticed a lot lately that it's becoming really unkind out there. So maybe we just need to make a better effort to be good to each other. Good night, everybody.
That's why I'm here. The giver. To spread joy and love. Peace and love.
We love you guys too.
All right, guys. Have a good night.